Wang Yi, who's the pastor who's in prison now in China, Wang Yi touches my soul in so many ways, not just because I pray for his future, but because being unable to talk to him, to hear his deepest thoughts and dreams, reminds me of the other men and women I can't talk to who are imprisoned in China and around the world for daring to have a relationship with God and being unwilling to keep it hidden. The names we don't know, the voices we don't hear, the brave individuals who in all likelihood will die behind bars. I wonder, what is on their mind as the weeks and months pass by? Do they question their faith, or is their faith stronger than ever? I suspect the latter, just as it was for Peter Chu, and no doubt many others. I think back to when Sharon Pate came into my office and told me about the missionary in Uzbekistan who was in jail and the work we did to get him out, and more after him. The struggle for religious freedom has come a long way in these past 3 decades, but not far enough. Not when people like Wang Yi languish in a prison cell for believing in his Lord and Savior and in the eternal. Corey, you know Wang Yi's case very well. How's he doing now? What can you tell us?
Yeah, I've been friends with their family for a while. I mean, I can tell you that no one from the family has been able to visit him within the last year. It's been over a year, so all the information I have is at least a year old. We do have Chinese agents that relay information to the family, so you can take that for what it's worth. But 1 year ago, his wife, Zhang Rong, was able to visit him in prison, so here's what we know based on that. So since his imprisonment, Wang Yi has lost at least 50 pounds. He gained intentionally 30 pounds before going to prison, believing that he would be arrested. So he prepared himself in that way. So he's at least 20 pounds under the original weight. His wife reports that he is, quote, darker and uglier than before. What she means by that is he looks haggard and unwell. His body has weakened considerably. Presumably, we know based on being able to talk to the other 35 who were in prison with early reign that there is some torture involved. We certainly believe that he's being subjected to some kind of medical, physical, or psychological torture. But though his body has weakened, I'm happy to report that his mind is still sharp. We know that, based on the most recent visit, Wang Yi is one of the great public intellectuals in China. His mind is incredibly important to China. And so even those outside the church say that Wang Yi's mind is very important. And so we're grateful for that. We know he reads books voraciously from the prison library. He has not yet been given a Bible, which is something that we've been requesting for many years. We also know his eyesight has worsened as he's been reading, and he's not been able to get a new prescription for glasses in all this time. Wang Yi's soul is also, I'm very glad to report, is in very good shape. He holds on to his faith, even though he's in prison in these awful conditions. He cannot see his wife or child regularly. They write letters to him. They don't arrive. They cannot talk to him on the phone. But however, whenever they are able to interact with him, his soul is intact. Wang Yi's body is weak. He has hepatitis C. He has gout. He has no regular access to medical care. But his mind and body are sharp, and his family is grateful. And if I may add here, and I think Wang Yi would want me to say this, that when we advocate for Wang Yi, we don't just advocate for Wang Yi, we advocate for all of those who are up here like this today, and we also advocate for people like Ezra Jin, Grace's father. The president wheels up pretty soon, and we've heard recently that he intends to bring up Ezra's case. We're very grateful for that, but we don't want Ezra and others to be like Wang Yi and us be having a conference in 2033, 7.5 years after their imprisonment. We really want to see the president and others bring him home. And so that's our prayer and that's our hope. And I think Wang Yi would want me to advocate for Ezra Jin today.